Let's go deeper with business and constitutional law attorney Seth Berenzweig. Thank you for being here, Seth. How strong of a case does the government have?
Well, this is landmark litigation where the government is asserting that Apple has violated the Antitrust Act, specifically the Sherman Antitrust Act. I think it's a very interesting case, and certainly it's a very detailed complaint, but I think it's really very much in a gray area. Frankly, they're trying to shoot a cannonball at the unique business ecosystem surrounding the iPhone. And while it is true that there are some exclusionary aspects to their business moat, the reason why they have largely done that is because they have created a unique technology-based ecosystem where they will argue that these were things not done with the intention of being anti-competitive and unlawful, but in order to fight fiercely in a highly competitive market with marketplaces where there are consumers that have multiple choices. So while it is a very detailed complaint and they do raise some interesting points, it's going to be very much an uphill battle because at the end of the day, I think that Apple has a very competitive ecosystem based upon technology, but not necessarily because it's breaking the law.
And Seth, there was an NPR article headline last year that said, United States takes on Google in the biggest tech monopoly trial of 21st century. How does this lawsuit compare to that?
Well, you know, it's really interesting that you bring that up because what the government under the Biden administration is doing is they're talking about market power and how large, specifically big tech companies are able to harness large market share in a way that limits consumer choice. But historically, the Antitrust Act was about consumer protection from a pricing standpoint. So in the old days, when the robber barons would collude on prices to take trains and thereby increasing the prices for riding on trains, that was considered to be a violation of the Sherman Antitrust Act. What's happening here really raises the question of whether big tech is engaging in practices that are creating more benefit or more harm to the consumer. In this instance, yes, there is a 2/3 market share with the Apple, but Androids also control a little over 1/3 of the market. Yes, Apple Wallet does have some kind of a control within the ecosystem, but people can pay by other means as well as their apps directly through their financial institutions. So this is really kind of a historic shifting of the underlying purpose and focus of the Antitrust Act, and Apple's going to be fighting this very vigorously. We know this case will go on for several years, but right now, there's going to be a question of whether Apple will be able to file a motion to dismiss. I don't think they can dismiss it outright as a matter of law, but they will certainly battle this for the next couple of years.
If the government were to be successful, Seth, what does the outcome actually look like?
What the government will want to do ultimately is, aside from having a declaration that Apple has engaged in purposefully exclusionary and anti-competitive behavior under the Sherman Antitrust Act, but it will want an injunction to have fundamental business changes in the technology mode that is the garden surrounding all of these technologies within the Apple space. They will want to have more interoperability, more sharing. They'll want to break down these walls. They'll want to change fundamentally a lot of the ways that go to the core and the heart of Apple's business methods. And you really get that messaging when you see what Apple's response was that you just noted a moment ago. The government really wants to take a sledgehammer to the Apple business model, and they want to, as Apple would say, punish fundamentally forward-leaning and advanced technological capabilities that create an engaged and cost-effective consumer experience. So this is really going to be an all-out, gloves-off fight. The government wants to break up Apple. Apple will definitely be fighting this, so you can expect that this is going to go on for some time. There will not be a settlement or a resolution of this case anytime soon.
All right, Seth Berenzweig, business and constitutional law attorney. Seth, thanks for the breakdown. We appreciate it.